Dean Phillips, for example, springs to mind, who was absolutely pilloried by the Democrats when he dared to put his name forward as a presidential candidate, even though that was obviously necessary. He was one of the first Democrats who realized that there was something not so right about Biden in the cognitive department, let's say. And even people like Dean would excuse Kamala, for example, for speaking about equity. Their conclusion always was, oh, she didn't really mean equality of outcome, even though that's exactly what she said repeatedly and used graphics to indicate that. They just mean equality of opportunity. It's like, no, they don't. They mean equity. They mean equality of outcome. And there's no clearer marker of an ideology that's associated with the kind of radical leftism that destroys countries than the doctrine of equality of outcome. So, and people just don't understand this. Equity, oh, it's harmless. It's not bloody well harmless.
Besides Dean Phillips, are there other Democrats you've talked to or studied who you'd say are constructive parts of how you'd like to see the Democratic Party orient itself?
Oh, I think it's indisputable that the majority of people in on the Democrat side are basic moderates. But the thing about the more liberal thinkers, let's say the more progressive thinkers, that they have a very difficult time drawing distinctions and putting up borders. And so they won't admit to the presence of the radicals within their ranks, and they excuse them consistently. And I would say that's universal. I mean, even when I talked to RFK, because I did an interview with RFK, and he's a pretty forthright character. And I asked all the Democrats I ever talked to, I always asked the same question: when does the left go too far? And RFK's response to that is, I don't want to run that kind of divisive campaign. And the response universally from all the other Democrats I asked that question to was some variant of hand waving. They'd ask me, I'd say, well, for me, one of the dividing lines is equity. If you start talking about equity, although you might not even know it, you're possessed by a radical ideology that's anti-private property, anti-free market, which basically means anti-free exchange. It's not capitalism, which is that's a demented word, capitalism. It's basically a Marxist. It's basically a Marxist concept. Capitalism is free exchange, and that means you get to own things and invest your money and benefit as a consequence of your own labor and your capital, for that matter. Equity makes a complete mockery of that. So, and people don't understand that. They're not interested. Naive, I would say. They're naive. I asked Dean Phillips, for example, why he was a Democrat, and he gave me a story about his grandmother and Hubert Humphrey back in 1965. It's like, fair enough, Dean, and I can understand that.